Salut tout le monde, aujourd'hui une interview qu'on m'a beaucoup demandé, une interview que vous avez beaucoup attendue. Je reçois enfin Fluid, DMH de Fluid, il va se présenter, il va vous dire ce qu'il fait là-bas. How are you, DMH?
Hi everyone. French is a very beautiful language. Unfortunately, I do not know it, so I have to introduce myself in English. Sorry for that. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm DMH, CEO at Fluid, and I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, just for a reminder, what's your job exactly? What part you play in Fluid?
Oh, it's a good question. My official role is COO.
Yeah.
Whatever it means. Basically, I do stuff on the growth side, on BD side, external communications, and the strategy of the protocol. Like
Mhm.
how we move, where do we move, what do we do next.
All right, perfect. And just so everyone knows you better, can you say a bit what you've done in the past, what's your past experience, and what's bring you to Fluid?
Yeah, with pleasure. I'm always saying that I've started in crypto just recently, but it's not that recently anymore. I started in 2021, like in October, November 2021. And until this month, I've never seen Ethereum price as high as it used to be when I started. Now, four years later, uh, I'm break even. So I started back then. It was like, I was before that I was working in oil and gas industry, and I always wanted to switch to something else. And I
Mhm.
was, I was curious what exactly I can do because I have my like my education, which is dedicated to that space. And I was thinking that I have to get some other education, or I have to self-educate myself, like to do maybe coding or something.
Mhm.
And then I heard about crypto. I heard about like before, and in 2020 I decided that I want to start learning crypto, and
Mhm.
started studying it like for maybe 1 year. And then I heard about DeFi, and when I learned about DeFi, I got like very excited about this opportunities that it brings to the users, that you can interact with financial primitives from your
Mhm.
laptop, from your phone, and the assets, you hold the assets. You don't have to give your assets to some bank or something. You don't have to sign the papers. So I got very excited about it, and I started like exploring DeFi myself day and night, 24/7.
Mhm.
And then one day I just decided to start writing about DeFi. People started following me on Twitter. Then I got my first job in investment fund.
Mhm.
And then while working in that fund, I also started exploring opportunities in DeFi space if I can be a part of a
Mhm.
new project. Um, and in October 2023, so almost 2 years ago, InsideUp released a blog article. They introduced Fluid. I read that blog
Mhm.
article. I realized that this is the greatest protocol I've ever seen.
Mhm.
And I immediately realized that I want to be a part of it. I texted the team. I said, guys, I am in love with your ideas. Team like said, okay, it's cool, but I mean, like we're not hiring, we don't have anything like any place for you. Anyway, like we were in touch. I was contributing to the protocol, to the ideas as much as I could, and after some time, like we started working more and more, and after some time, they offered me like full time job. And yeah,
Mhm.
it was. I mean, I started contributing to Fluid before it was launched, but like I was officially hired after 1 month after the launch. Yeah, that's some high level background.
Yeah, that a lot because you kind of a DeFi expert and you've been in love with Fluid when you've seen it. Um, why is that choice? I mean, what in Fluid have you seen that blow your mind? Sorry.
Actually, when I first read about it, I realized that like at that moment I haven't realized full potential, but I still understood that the things that how the architecture of Fluid is really great. But like what I can tell now is like with my experience and full understanding of the protocol, that
Mhm.
the capital efficiency that Fluid brings to the space is unparalleled, it's unmatched. Like no one can achieve anything close to us. The way, first of all, overall architecture of Fluid, that you have single liquidity layer and you build other protocols on top of it. That's one very important thing, which allows us to build new protocols with very deep liquidity on day one. Second thing is the innovations on the protocol level. So the way how liquidation engine works on Fluid lending market, which allows us to have the highest liquidation thresholds in the industry and lowest liquidation penalties in the industry. That's one thing. Second thing is Fluid DEX, which allows to create DEX liquidity out of debt from the lending market. So we make a debt a liability. We make a liability a productive asset. It becomes a productive asset, which has never been possible in TradFi, DeFi, anywhere. And this level of capital efficiency, which our DEX brings to the space, is also mind-blowing, still mind-blowing for me, even it's like almost 1 year old. So these are the main things. But yeah, in the future, as we build more protocols, people will realize that the beauty of our architecture even more.
Okay, I understand. So just to get back, Fluid was used to be Instadap. What Instadap was? I remember I have seen it, and it was like back then a DeFi protocol that was not very big. It was meaningful, but not that much. What really changed between Instadap and Fluid? Everything you mentioned?
Instadap is a different protocol. So Fluid was launched last year, and Instadap team is behind the Fluid protocol. Instadap protocol was launched back in 2017 or 18, when like there was no term as DeFi. There was few projects like MakerDAO and Compound, and then like Instadap protocol was launched, and Instadap protocol was a middleware for interacting with other protocols. And we had these advanced features like refinancing, flash loans, like DSA, DeFi smart accounts. We was the first one who came up with all of these. And back then, Instadap had up to $15 billion in TVL. We were building on top of others, and we realized that there is very big room, to improve the experience for the users. But because we were building on top of others, we couldn't innovate. We had to build something of our own. And in 2021, we came up with the idea of Fluid, and we started building it for more than 2 years. So it took some time to create Fluid the way it looks like. It looks now. And then we launched Fluid, and then after some time we sort of rebranded from Instadap to Fluid. When we launched Fluid, the website was instadap.fluid.io. We did this rebranding to Fluid.
All right, perfect. So I've been a huge Fluid supporter since a month now. Every time I try to explain it, I struggle. Maybe you will do a better job than me. Can you? So you talked already a bit about how it works, but very high level terms. Why Fluid is different? Why? How does it work, and why should we care?
So as a user, you should care because you have the best, on the lending market, you have the best experience because you can borrow with the highest LTVs. And in case if you get liquidated, you are not getting fully liquidated or like 50% liquidated. You are getting what we can call like soft liquidation, where your position is only like the LTV is brought back to the liquidation threshold, but not below it. So we're not liquidating the whole position. So on the lending market, this is why you have to care. On the DEX side, you will care because as a liquidity provider, you get much better opportunities. Like DEX V1 is focused on stablecoin pairs, and Fluid DEX is doing more than 50% of volumes across chains. Across all major chains for stablecoin volumes. So Fluid DEX alone does more than all other DEXs combined. And as a user who wants to make a swap on chain, you will care about Fluid because Fluid provides you this very deep liquidity. So we improve experience for liquidity providers. We improve experience for traders. We improve experience for borrowers. That's why people have to care about it.
All right. Yeah, you talk a bit about stablecoin volume, which is impressive, to be honest. Like most of the stablecoin volume goes to Fluid. Is it because of dynamic fees? What makes Fluid above most of the competitors on stablecoins?
So to answer this question, we need to understand how the volumes are routed across DEXs. There are several things which are important. It's depth of the liquidity, trading fee, and gas efficiency of the DEX. There are some DEXs that are not very well gas optimized, and gas fees on Ethereum are quite costly. That's why you have to make your DEX quite gas efficient. Fluid is around 25% more expensive than Uniswap, and this is because our more complex design overall, but cheaper than some other DEXs, for example. Second thing is liquidity depth. Liquidity depth is where Fluid wins, because we can create very, very deep liquidity for stablecoins. Our USDT DEX pool has more than $125 million of DEX liquidity, and this is created purely out of debt. So nobody has to provide the TVL on the DEX side to create this liquidity. So, and it's not sustainable on any other DEX. Nobody will provide $100 million of stablecoins on Uniswap because it's just not capital efficient. For us, the cost of this liquidity is basically zero. Second thing, we have such thing as a leveraged liquidity, where users can put their DEX LP as a collateral on Fluid lending market. They can borrow against it and they can leverage it. So our, for example, USDT DEX pool has more than $100 million in liquidity, index liquidity, and that's also one of the this is the biggest DEX pool for Ethena in entire crypto DeFi. And the way it was we only required, let's say, $10 million of capital to achieve that. So on the liquidity depth, Fluid is winning everyone. And then comes the third thing, which is trading fees. Trading fees on Fluid are basically the same as competitors have. We keep, when we launched, the trading fees were higher, then competitors started lowering the fees, so we had to lower our fees as well. And we were lowering together with them. Now we are all at the same level, and sometimes we increase if we see that competitors are losing market, and if they start doing something, we again decrease the fees. So the fees are, I would say, more or less the same as everyone else has.
All right, understood. So you mentioned it's a DEX, it's also a lending borrowing protocol. I think that part is misunderstood. Sorry, for most of people. Can you explain why Fluid have both, and what's the synergy here? How does it work?
Yeah, sure. So, as I said before, Fluid is not a lending market. Fluid is not a DEX. Fluid is a liquidity layer. And on top of this liquidity layer, we build different protocols. And every protocol built on top of liquidity layer taps, it taps into the same liquidity layer. It contributes to the same liquidity layer, and it utilizes the same liquidity layer. So if someone makes a deposit on the DEX, this deposited money goes to liquidity layer, and it can be borrowed from the lending market. If I am depositing to the lending market, my assets go to the liquidity layer as well, and there will be more protocols in the future. It can be 5, 10, 20 different protocols built on top of the same liquidity layer, and liquidity will be flowing between the protocols, making this liquidity extremely capital efficient. So now we have two major protocols, which is lending and lending borrowing market and the DEX. And they are both built on top of this liquidity layer. And our DEX is powering our lending market. and our lending market is powering our DEX. I mean, the best example here, as I mentioned, our USDC DEX pool, which is the biggest in DeFi, and it has like all liquidity is created out of debt from the lending market.
And one of the things that most people like is like smart debt, smart collateral. Can you introduce us to how this work?
Yeah, sure. So smart collateral, you can think it as a fluid DEX LP, which can be used as a collateral on the lending market. So you have your two tokens in the DEX pool, and you can put it as a collateral on the lending market, and you can borrow against it. One more feature for the smart collateral is that you earn both trading fees and lending fees. So you have more revenue sources for your smart collateral. And smart debt, this is where we like, in my opinion, is like the biggest innovation in DeFi since inception, probably. Again, like in my personal opinion, how smart debt works. Users on Fluid, they like as on any other lending market, they can borrow stablecoins. Yeah, you can borrow USDC, you can borrow USDT. On Fluid, we also give an option to borrow USDC and USDT at the same time. So on the UX level, how it happens, like user brings, let's say, Ethereum collateral, and he borrows $1,000 of USDC smart debt. On the UX level, let's say he only wants to borrow 1,000 USDC. He borrowed 1,000 USDC. This 1,000 USDC is in his wallet. Now he can do anything he wants with this USDC. He can off-ramp it, leverage, swap, deposit somewhere else. It's his money. But his debt is now denominated in two different tokens. It's denominated in USDC and USDT. And the composition of his debt can be changing. It can be changing at any moment, and proportion can be fully in USDC, fully in USDT, or like 50-50 proportion. It will be changing constantly. And now his debt is also used as a trading liquidity on the DEX. But the question here is like, how can it be used as liquidity if there is no TVL? Yeah, if it's borrowed out and removed from the protocol. So how it works, how we make DEX liquidity out of it. When trader wants to make a swap, for example, let's give an example. Yeah, like user borrowed 1,000 USDC and his debt is now denominated in 500 USDC, 500 USDT. And a trader wants to swap 100 USDC to 100 USDT. Trader will repay one part of the debt and borrow another part of the debt on behalf of this borrower. So he is repaying 100 USDC. So now the debt became 400 USDC, and he's borrowing 100 USDT on behalf of that borrower. So USDT debt is now 600. Combined, it's still $1,000, but compositions have changed. And trader paid a trading fee to the borrower. So borrowing costs are now lower because trading fees are reducing his borrowing costs. And trading APR sometimes can be very like what happened once on Arbitrum, and not once, when was the trading APRs were higher than the borrowing APR. So users were getting paid to borrow on Fluid, and this is like with no incentives. This is happening organically through on-chain economy. Like it's like long-term and sustainable thing. This is like we are reducing the borrowing costs for the borrowers, and at the same time we are building up DEX liquidity. That's the beauty of this architecture.
Yeah, I think that's game changer. I wonder, maybe that's me, but I see some protocols are getting inspired by this. Do you think Fluid is going to change DeFi, the way DeFi works?
I can definitely say that protocols getting inspired by that. First, like we see some protocols that are launching some new versions soon. They are trying to copy liquidity layer, and they copy it pretty much. We see some other protocols they launched the DEX on the lending market. We see some other protocols also mentioned publicly that they want to do this. They even called it same smart collateral, smart debt, which is funny. uh, yeah. So the thing is that we believe that let's say the existing solutions that like which were built similar to Fluid, they cannot compete with us. Like they are, I mean, they didn't like copy us one to one. They took this concept and they did it in their own way, and it doesn't work, and it cannot work the way it works as Fluid works. So we're not really worried about that. And over the years, over the time, we definitely expect the technical advantage will reduce. That's someone will come up with some new ideas, maybe even better ideas. Someone will copy and so on and so on. But no, we still have time to grow to that level where like it doesn't matter if someone tries to copy you, because you become very big and very sustainable. You generate a lot of fees and revenue, so you don't have to care if someone like tries to fork you. So like that's our goal, just to become big enough that we don't have to worry about someone trying to copy us.
Yeah, I think Copypasta are a proof of success, in my opinion. But let's talk a bit about LTV. I think LTV is like a big part of why Fluid is amazing. Like you've got 85% or something like this of LTV, when most of the competitors on the lending part, of course, are around 80, 85. How do you manage to have this? Are you the highest LTV on the market right now also?
Yes, we have the highest LTVs on the market for basically every asset. And most of the times we have the highest by a wide margin. And the reason for that is our liquidation engine, which we created from the scratch. Like it's fully new liquidation engine. And I remember back then, like more than 1 year ago, when we launched it and people saw our high LTVs, people were saying, okay, it cannot work, like there will be bad debt for sure. Like and then I remember the day when Ethereum crashed 15% in 4 minutes. We had no issues at all with our liquidation engine. And then after that moment, I think people started believing that our liquidation engine is really that powerful. And and it proved itself to be the most efficient liquidation engine. To give you more context how it works, so how liquidation engine works, engine works now on different other lending markets. Liquidators, like when the position is flagged for liquidation, liquidator comes and liquidate every position one by one. Yeah, there are 10,000 positions flagged for liquidations, and liquidator has to come and liquidate 10,000 times one by one. And this is super gas inefficient. It requires much more attention from liquidators, and other things that there can be very small positions, let's say $50 worth of position, and for liquidator to liquidate it, when the markets are crashing, like gas fees become very high, because liquidators paying higher fees to be the first one to liquidate. And then at some moment, the small positions, they become irrelevant for liquidators and they just skip them. And these small positions, they become a bad debt on this lending markets. They can be 10, 28, this tiny 50, $120 positions as a bad debt. Nobody cares about that, because on a few billion size, like you first of all, like you will make this revenue very fast, and like you don't care about this bad debt. But this is what's happening on Fluid. It works very different. On Fluid, you can think that all collaterals are combined together. So when You can like the best example here is if you think about Uniswap v3. On Uniswap v3, you can have thousands of different liquidity providers.
Mhm.
But when a trade is happening on Uniswap pool, the trader is swapping against everyone at the same time. He is not making
Mhm.
1,000 different small swaps. He is trading against everyone at the same time.
Yeah.
Same on Fluid, the liquidity that has to be liquidated, it is combined together. And when liquidator comes, he liquidates everyone with one transaction. So we can have one position or 1 million positions flagged for liquidation. For liquidator, he doesn't know how many positions he is liquidating. He's always liquidating just one very big position.
Mm.
And he doesn't care if that position has $10 or $10 million because all of them are aggregated together. And he's making this one simple transaction, one simple swap to liquidate everyone. And that's why we can make reduce the liquidation penalties, because if you're liquidating everyone at the same time, you don't have to have 10% liquidation penalty. Even
Mhm.
1% or 0.1% liquidation penalty will be enough for you to make profit on this amount of size. That's one thing. And second thing, we don't have to liquidate, like to hard liquidate everyone. We just
Mhm.
reduce like all this debt which is about liquidation threshold. We just bring everyone back below liquidation threshold, and this is and the system is safe. Users are not losing money to
Mm.
like as unnecessary liquidation penalties or anything like that. So yeah, that's how it works on Fluid. Does it make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's actually amazing, I think. So we talk a bit about how Fluid dominate on stablecoins. It doesn't dominate on more volatile pairs. Uh, do you have plans to expand on this, and how do you think you can, compete with someone like Uniswap on these pairs?
Yeah, DEX v1, like what we have now, it is not optimized for volatile pairs. But we are building DEX v2. Actually, to to give you some more context to DEX v2, before we launched DEX v1, we already had plans for DEX v2. We already
Mhm.
knew what are the limitations of DEX v1, and we already had DEX v2 idea in mind.
Mm.
And after we launched DEX v2 and saw how it performs, like we were even more confident about our DEX v2 design and that we have to build it. And we actually completed DEX v2 in June. Like code base was
Mhm.
completed in June. It was audited by the end of June. Like it was already fully audited. But because we were planning to launch on Solana in July, we decided that we will
Mm.
first launch on Solana and then we will launch DEX v2. Our Solana launch got a little bit delayed. We actually launched
Mhm.
just yesterday, and in the
Mhm.
first 24 hours, we got more than 500 million TVL on Solana,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, so now after we stabilize our Solana markets, we will be launching DEX v2. The other thing is because our DEX code was lying there for 2 months, we decided to make a few more upgrades, few more optimizations, and we'll be sending the code for a small re-audit, like to test all these new features. And after
Mhm.
that, yeah, we'll start working on the integrations with every aggregator, bot, and so on. And then we will make it live. So maybe end of September, early October, depends how fast we stabilize our Solana market and so on. We'll be launching DEX v2. With DEX v2, we believe this is the most advanced DEX that have ever existed in DeFi.
Mm.
Uh, and we believe that DEX v2 will become the biggest DEX by volumes across all chains combined within just 6-8 months after the launch.
Wow.
I would say it really depends how fast all the integration will go through, and then we can make it like the biggest DEX for both stablecoin pairs and volatile pairs.
All right, all right. I understand. Yeah, you talk about free expansion to Solana with JupLend. So yeah, it went public yesterday. was quite amazing. I have seen it like from 20 millions to 500. That's quite impressive. Even more on a blockchain that is not really focused on that part. What's your plan on Solana? Are you going to compete with, Camino that have for now all the market? And what's the partnership with Jupiter? How do you work with them?
I mean, we're not planning to compete. We're planning to outcompete. It's a big difference.
I like that.
And we're planning to do this very fast. I mean, again, like to be very clear, JupLend is like it's basically a fluid on Solana, which was fully built by our team. We rewrote the code. We make a lot of architecture changes without compromising the protocol design to make it compatible with Solana coding language and Solana realities. There are 2 audits already live. 3rd audit is already completed, so it will be published maybe tomorrow or next week. So there will be 3 audits. We are doing 1 more audit, formal verification, and then like bug bounty. So all of this shall be completed by something like mid-September or at end September. And after that, we will open source protocol. And this is when we believe that, it will get much more traction because, it's new protocol. So people are still might be a bit worried if they use it, if they have to use it, if there are any, security concerns with that and so on. But after 1 month, so people can see that everything works perfectly. We'll have many more audits available for everyone, formal verification. We'll have it open source and stuff like that. We think even more TVL will start flowing to JupLend. So our $500 million in 24 hours is a big success. But we expect much more growth in the coming weeks. I think like for the next few days, the growth will slow down a little bit. It's expected, but we have still like a few features we haven't announced launched yet, which will help to grow JupLend TVL even further. So probably 1 billion in 1 week, probably 2 billion in 1 month. Yeah, let's see. Have very big expectations about about DeFi on Solana, about JupLend on Solana. And then we will be, of course, launching the DEX on Solana and building other protocols there. So many things coming, and like we expect to be a big force on Solana, let's say. Regarding our partnership with Jupiter, so we know their team since long time ago, since very beginning, I would say. And we had like good relations with them, but we didn't have many opportunities to work together. But when we realized that Solana is a big opportunity for us, expansion to Solana is a big opportunity for us, we thought that collaborating with Jupiter will make a lot of sense because Jupiter is the biggest distribution partner which we can dream of on Solana. It's basically a front end for Solana. And if we come as a Ethereum native protocol, we expected the Solana community will be a bit hesitant. But if we are coming as a JupLend, as a part of Jupiter, then Solana community will believe in us. And this is what we can say what has happened. So we brought our experience in lending space. We brought like the best tech from Ethereum. We brought it to Solana. And yeah, like very big expectations on the growth. And Jupiter is our distribution partner. They're working on the distribution, on the growth side. That's on them. We are doing more on the tech side. And it's like a truly 50-50 partnership. So we split the revenue with them 50-50. We split our efforts. We split our costs and and everything like that. So yeah, we're very happy to work with them. I hope they're very happy to work with us as well. At least so far, no complaints.
Yeah, and if I'm not wrong, Mew from the CEO of Jupiter was a contributor to Instadap, right?
He was an advisor to Instadap.
Oh, all right.
Like when Instadap was launched, yeah, he was one of few advisors back then. So that's why like we know Mel since then.
All right. And there is few dexes that try to be multi-chain because sometimes they struggle because you can't give 100% energy to each chain. Are you not scared that you get lost by trying to be everywhere?
I mean, it's definitely getting more complicated when you have to manage things across
Hmm.
different chains, especially if it's like uh, you know like Solana and Ethereum, like it's like completely different chains. Yeah, EVM and SVM.
Hmm.
It's becoming complicated. Like I'm working these days. I would say quite a lot. Yeah, and it's becoming more complicated. But
Hmm.
I mean, we can manage that first of all. Second
Hmm.
thing, Jupyter team is definitely helping us. Third thing, I think we're already in that at that stage when we have to expand the team more,
Hmm.
to have more efficient, uh, you know, productivity. Let's say, and yeah, and like we'll be expanding to more chains over time. For example, we will be coming to Plasma and maybe some other chains.
Oh yeah.
So we will need to grow the team a bit. Maybe we will need to hire some service providers who will be helping us with something. So it's time to grow and scale protocol. Like in next 6-12 months, we expect it will be like very significant growth.
All right. Amazing. I have seen some FUDs around Feed, not a much. It's always the same FUD. It's about revenue. Some people, I don't remember his name, but he was complaining that Feed doesn't make a lot of revenue compared to other protocols. What's your thought on this, and what is planned to increase the revenue, even more with buybacks that have been announced?
Yeah, so few things here. So first of all, like Fluid generates around $20 million of revenue. That's before
Yeah.
Solana launch.
Mhm.
Um, this is not so much. I agree with that. But at the same time, I mean, there are not so many protocols in DeFi that are earning any kind of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can like on top of my head, this Hyperliquid is a Aave, of course. Uh, Maker is doing very little revenue, I guess. So there are not so many protocols in DeFi that make any
Mhm.
sort of revenue. That's first thing. Second thing, for example, look at Uniswap. They are 7 years live, but they made zero revenue in 7 years. Uh,
Yeah.
and most of the protocols they're net unprofitable. Uh,
Mm.
but I agree that revenue is not that big at the moment, but we expect to grow our revenue significantly over the course of the next year. And let me explain you how. First thing, we're definitely growing our. I mean, if you look at Fluid TVL, like from start till now, it's only up only.
Yeah.
Of course, like markets were up and down, but I mean, we're steadily growing. It's one thing. Second, and we expect to grow further. Second thing that we'll be launching more protocols on top of Fluid, which will also contribute to the revenue.
Mhm.
But even without these protocols, uh, we will be launching Dex V2 soon, and uh, Dex V2 will be a major contributor to the revenue of Fluid. So for the next year, after we grow the DEX and stabilize it and make it a major DEX, we'll introduce fees
Mhm.
on the DEX. And the bear case scenario that for 2026 it will be at $50 million revenue.
Mhm.
The let's say the bull case scenario is that our revenue on the DEX will be like 200 million plus. I mean the revenue of Fluid in general. It's very possible. It's very achievable. We can see what traction Dex V1 has. We know that Dex V2 will be even better. It will be better for both correlated pairs and volatile pairs. We'll be launching Dex on Solana. We'll be expanding to some other chains. So we only see growth from this point of time. I mean, of course, like if market nukes 50% tomorrow, our revenue will go down as well. But long term, we see very big opportunity for us for the next year, and revenue will grow significantly as well. This it will be also our focus.
Yeah, I think it already grow a lot. I think I remember like it was 10 millions 2 months ago, annualized, I mean. And above 10, if I remember, you wanted to start the buyback, and you did. You asked the community how they want to do it. Can you introduce us a bit how this is going to work? Because I think that's really a mature way to do buybacks, way more mature than most of the protocols. You're not going to buy tops. That's what I like.
So last year, like when we introduced the rebrand from Uniswap to Fluid, we also shared this idea of buybacks, and we wanted to go to like 10 million plus revenue to start doing it. Once we reached that, we raised this topic on the governance forum again, and we asking our community what they believe is the best approach to do that. We shared some of our ideas. There is quite some discussions there, and some people are offering. Some people are saying that we shouldn't be doing buyback. Some people are saying we should change the formula. So like we're still evaluating. The one thing that we don't want to keep this conversation very long. So by October 1st, we want to start buybacks, so like do whatever community prefers to do. There are several options how we can proceed with the buybacks. One of them, like which we shared initially, that we will put some, let's say, range, and in this range we'll be buying back like with up to 100% of revenue. When the FDV is low, we are buying a lot. When FDV is high, we are buying less. It's one approach. We got some feedback because before making this proposal live, we were also speaking with different founders and different community members. Some of them said that this approach has also downsides because let's say it's sort of puts a ceiling on the like FDV on the token price that nobody will be, say, willing to buy the tokens themselves because they know there are no buybacks. So someone suggested that we should go with this 30-day TiVo price and like buy the token when the price is below 30-day TiVo, or like things like that. And there are different ideas. There are people who are saying that we shouldn't do buybacks because like we should grow the treasury. I would say I'm the one who who thinks that protocol has to reinvest back into the growth, but I think that buying back the tokens is also to reinvest into the growth.
Yeah, I understand. And you announced very big partnership this month. I have seen Ondo, I have seen Plasma, which is very exciting Plasma chain. What's the vision in this collaboration, and what's the role Fluid is going to play in Ondo or Plasma, for example?
Yeah, so with Ondo, so they're introducing the tokenized stocks on chain, and we might be introducing this in tokenized stocks on Fluid as well, as soon as we make sure that these assets are safe to be used as a collateral on Fluid. With the Plasma, we are expecting. We're seeing that there is a lot of traction with Plasma, and we expect there will be strong growth there. And Plasma team was very interested in bringing Fluid to Plasma chain and bringing Fluid DEX specifically, and so we can grow together on Plasma. So by I think Plasma mainnet will be somewhere end of the month, and we expect some significant growth there as well. We're also looking in some other chains, speaking with some other partners, where again, like our JupLend launch is first time when we tried this approach where we have a distribution partner. We're now speaking with some other protocols on the distribution side, how we how we can work together and bring the best tech to them, and they bring their distribution, and we grow to $500 million a day.
All right. You talk about some maybe next partnership. Do you have some names, some alpha, or are you still in the discussion?
No, unfortunately, cannot say anything. Yeah,
Of course.
first of all, I mean, one thing I can tell you, for the moment, it's like nothing is confirmed. We don't have any agreements and so on. So one chain where we're planning to launch is Plasma, and there are no other chains where we're launching now. But yeah, we're discussing, with some partners what we can do together. Hopefully, something will play out. Let's see.
And what's the vision for Fluid? Like, I mean, long-term vision. Like long-term in crypto is like 4 years. Like, what's Fluid in 4 years?
Yeah. So few things. One, there will be tens of protocols built on top of Fluid. Fluid will be the major infrastructure in DeFi, in like every aspect. It will be lending, DEX, and other protocols that we will launch. We see, I mean, we believe that it depends how much time would it take, for TradFi to move into DeFi. But overall, we believe that Fluid has a potential to become, a $1 trillion protocol. When we're not saying it's happening, tomorrow or in 4 years. It really depends on the level of adoption. But in 4 years, we should be at more than $100 billion market size, given how the market is moving. Being, as I mentioned, being the major infrastructure in DeFi, we believe we can achieve that.
All right. And you talk a lot about protocols that can be built on the liquidity engine. So you have the DEX, you have the lending part. What other use case can you see?
Yeah, so it can be any financial primitive, but we have a few ideas in mind at the moment, like what we're planning to build and probably what we will build by the end of the year. At least we're like hoping to build at least one more major protocol by the end of the year. So a few ideas that we have now are fixed rates. So fixed rates like fixed lending, fixed rates borrowing, alternative of like PTS and things like that, which is quite a big use case, like in TradFi, and it's becoming a big use case in DeFi. And we think we have again the best algorithm, to build the best product. That's one thing. Second thing is permissionless lending borrowing markets. So we will be able to combine, now we can accept only blue chip assets on Fluid, but if we have this permissionless lending borrowing markets, and anyone can come create their own market, create their own extremely efficient DEX for themselves. And in case if we have this, let's say, fixed rates protocol, then anyone will be able to even create, let's say, PT tokens for their assets in Fluid, and cover complete end-to-end journey for their users, where you have lending borrowing, where you have fixed rates, where you have DEX, you have everything what you need. Another thing can be perps markets. Let's say we have some ideas around it as well. I think it will not be coming this year, maybe next year. We're in very early R&D stage, but this is also something what we can do on Fluid. We'll see what makes the most sense, and we'll be moving into that direction.
All right, that's exciting. I think we've got almost 1 hour. So well, we talk about a lot of different things. Do you think I missed a subject? Is there something you want to talk about I didn't mention already?
Uh, I think it's very well covered. I mean, like, thank you
Yeah.
so much. A few more things, like, I just recall that we have this major protocols on top of Fluid, which we speak the most, but we have some minor protocols on top of Fluid. So recently we launched Fluid Dex Lite, which is like a small mini. It's like first of all, it's a credit-based protocol, and second thing, it's like a mini DEX on top of Fluid. We're still waiting for many integrations to happen, but we're seeing that more and more integrations are getting completed now, and we expect that it's like daily volumes will be 200, 300, 400 millions every day, like once it's properly integrated everywhere. It's one another thing. And we'll be launching the small protocols all the time. Like we'll be launching USD Light Vault. It will be like a structured yield on stable coins product, and some other minor protocols which nobody knows about. For example, almost since launch, we have a protocol which is called Stake ETH Redemption Protocol, which nobody knows about it, but it's a very important protocol for us because it allows our Fluid Light Vault to borrow on Fluid, to borrow ETH on Fluid against Lido Exit NFT, which nobody else can do. So there are some small
Nice.
mini protocols on Fluid which are working behind the scenes and making us happy, but users don't really think about them.
Oh, all right. That's awesome. I just have one last question, but that's more for you, not for Fluid. Like I'm talking to DMH. I like when I get in VT to know what they have inside their brains. What are they looking right now? What is exciting right now for DMH? You know?
Let's say I like what Athena did in a way
Yeah.
that they brought something new to the space. Like, everyone was doing this like basis trading themselves and things like that, but they tokenized basis trade and brought it to
Mhm.
everyone. I mean, like, not everyone was doing basis trade, but some people who knew how to do it, they were doing it. But they tokenized basis trade and they scale it to billions of dollars, and they allowed everyone to use it. I think this is very cool what they did. Of
Mhm.
course, like, their protocol is like using heavy incentives to maintain the growth, but the concept, the idea, what they did, like in uh, the way they executed it, like, it's great. I like the concept of the protocol which just launched. It's called Cap. So I like the concept of what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm not sure if it will really work, but I'm very excited to see how it goes and like what they can achieve. At least
Mhm.
this is something new what they're bringing to the space.
Du coup, on va terminer l'interview. Si vous voulez regarder Fluid, si vous êtes passionné de la DeFi, je vous conseille vraiment d'aller voir déjà le contenu de DMH, DeFi Made Here. Il s'appelle sur X. Vous avez du coup le Discord de Fluid. Vous pouvez poser des questions, vous pouvez l'essayer. C'est quand même très intéressant ce qu'ils font. Thank you a lot, DMH, for coming. That was really great. I really enjoyed it. And I hope the best for Fluid. I'm still following.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you everyone who will listen to this. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm very happy to walk you through the protocol, explain you anything.
Awesome. See you, man.
See
Bye.
you. Bye bye.